So I'm going to be talking about how trade war affects business in the United States as a whole, or basically any country. Trade wars start to form when a country decides to implement tariffs, which is a tax basically on imported goods from other countries. Then these countries decide to react to this and they decide to put their own tariffs on imported goods. So basically, this starts a trade war, and this increases prices for stuff that is imported to us. So then that increases prices for businesses that have these goods as their main source of income. Companies who use domestic goods actually prosper in this situation because they're able to keep their prices low and actually compete compared to the ones who are using the imported goods. They actually have to change to the price of what they're getting. So if the price of steel that they're importing raises, then they have to raise their prices to profit more, or else they're just losing money. And the people who use goods that are made domestically, they actually prosper since their prices don't change. And if the prices of your goods actually rise, then you have to make cuts somewhere else to compensate for these rise in prices. For some companies, they had to lay people off to be able to compensate to make more profit since their goods are actually more expensive now. If you own these domestic goods, obviously you're going to be ahead of the competition because you're going to have the cheapest prices compared to the ones that are using imported goods that have the heavy tariffs on them. So then those companies actually will go out of business basically because they won't be able to cut enough costs to compete with you guys that are using domestic goods. Since the other country actually decided to retaliate and add their own tariffs, if you're the one exporting goods, you're going to be losing money too because you're trying to export goods and you have higher tariffs because we added tariffs. This can make a small business that is trying to export goods and actually compete with other businesses. This will make them go out of business, which is actually really bad for the economy, pushing small businesses out of the economy. So if you put it in this perspective, company A is selling domestic goods. Say they're selling waters for $1 a bottle because the water's from around the area, it's locally bottled and sourced. Then company B is selling their waters for $1 a bottle, but they're getting them for 50 cents while the other is getting them for 75. But then we decide to raise our tariffs, so the company who is exporting the water to us, they decide to raise their tariffs. So now company B is paying $1.10 for their water bottles, while the other company is still paying 75 cents. So even though company B was profiting more in the beginning, now company A is actually profiting and they're actually rising above their competition, company B, because tariffs rose because of a trade war. So in a way, this helps the businesses that use domestic products, but then again, it also affects companies who make the products that they're exporting. So there's kind of a negative effect on the whole economy with trade wars because people who are getting imported goods, they're losing. People who are exporting goods are losing. So the only people who are really profiting from this are the ones who are using domestic goods. Companies who sell and produce domestically are actually profiting also because they're able to produce the goods around locally and sell to local businesses. This is what keeps small businesses going and local businesses going because they're able to use goods that are produced in the area and actually sell them and advertise them and actually help grow their company. In general, this is what we are looking for in the United States, is to have local businesses grow, but it is also good to have businesses that can sell what we cannot produce or normally get ourselves. So having goods imported from other countries is actually also another good part of trade because some of these products we are not able to produce on our own, or else if we were, they would be insanely priced because we don't have what other companies use and the factories they use to produce everything.